So we're joined by a very special guest this afternoon, the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Maura Healey is here with us at the desk. Governor, good to see you.
It's awesome to be here. What a day.
Could you beat this weather? It's hard to imagine this weather being any better for runners and spectators.
You know, it's perfect. I'm so happy about that. We had a great weekend, too, with the 250th celebrations, and just really fortunate. Awesome day.
Yeah, the eyes of the world are on Boston this weekend on this day. Visitors from really all over. What is your favorite part of Marathon Monday?
You know, I think the marathon, first of all, it's the oldest marathon in the world, continuous running. It's amazing. And people come from all over. I think we have 127 countries represented this year alone. Of course, all 50 states represented. I think since 2013, though, the marathon has come to represent something even more, and that is strength and resilience. And you see it on display, right? You see it on the face, especially now. It's incredible, the elites, the Kenyans that we celebrated, the wheelchair racers that we celebrated. And now at this point of the program, I find it to be incredibly poignant. The people who are running for causes, for organizations, for people in their lives or people they've lost. And that's so much of what this marathon is about. And it's a beautiful thing and a beautiful message, I think, right now at this time in our country.
$550 million those charity runners have raised in the history of the charity part of this marathon. But you mentioned strength and resilience. The marathon coming on this day, aligning with the end of Passover, Easter, Orthodox Easter, the 250th anniversary of the start of the American Revolution. The symbolism there is pretty powerful, wouldn't you say?
It is. You know, you get to do a lot of special things as governor. I can't think of something more special other than my trip to the Vatican that I did than the other day, celebrating on the Battle Green in Lexington and by the North Bridge in Concord the night before kicking off Paul Revere's ride at Paul Revere Park in the North End in Charlestown. And I think especially right now, you know, the call to, you know, remembering what this country was founded on, the sacrifice of the patriots and the revolutionaries before us, and how we owe that to future generations is something so powerful.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that important trip to the Vatican a year ago, and the loss of Pope Francis this morning really came as a shock. Of course, he had been ill. He was in the hospital. He seemed to come through it. He did bless the crowd on Easter Sunday, and then we got the news this morning. You, of course, had an audience with the Pope. I know that was very important to you personally, your mother. If you could just take us to that experience.
Yeah. I think we knew he was having trouble. I was heartbroken when I saw the news this morning. I think it's, as a Catholic, poignant, the serendipity of Easter and what that means in our religion, and the rising of Jesus Christ, and then his passing the day after. There's so much in that. I'll just, you know, he is a remarkable person, a leader who demonstrated such humility and compassion. He cared about the most vulnerable among us. He invited me to speak at that climate summit because he was really worried about the problems that climate change was causing for so many, especially the poorest in the world. But beyond anything, Pope Francis was about recognizing hope. Recognizing hope, and I think hope through his message, who he was, hope through this event of the Boston Marathon. I mean, that's the greatest thing that we can give one another, and his lasting impact is remarkable.
He certainly was not afraid to speak his mind on a number of issues. You will miss his message. Yeah. Especially in these times that we are in?
Yeah, I think he was very clear, standing up for immigrants, standing up for the poor, standing up on issues related to climate. He was unafraid, and he had this saying, adelante, adelante, always moving forward, keep moving forward. And in times of challenge and struggle for this country, for this world, I think it's such an important message. And I really appreciate that he never lost an opportunity to speak the truth and to speak up for those who may be voiceless at times.
Yeah, and talking about that moving forward, the idea of where he moved the church itself, within Catholic canon, he made some big changes.
Yeah, and look, as a gay woman who is Catholic, I really appreciate that. And I remember, my mom was divorced. She had 5 of us, raised us alone. And I know at times she felt not connected to the church because of certain dogmas that fortunately have changed. And there's much more inclusivity within the church. And I think that's such an important and wonderful thing.
Back to the Boston Marathon, we talked about the charity work that happens through this event. You said this is the kind of the part of the afternoon, the elite race, the professional race is over. We get to kind of embrace these runners in this community, and a lot of this money stays right here in Boston and in New England for those charitable causes. How important is that?
So important, especially now, whether they're programs to help people with food, with housing, those battling addiction. I mean, there are just so many organizations supporting veterans and first responders, and it's just incredible. All the diseases, right? And the research,
medical research.
Especially at a time, frankly, and I've spoken against President Trump's cuts to NIH and to research funding for our universities and colleges. To know that these folks are here powering continued giving to these important causes is really such an awesome and wonderful thing. And I mean, I tell anybody who's running, make sure you wear your name on your shirt, right? Like, write it down, because people along the sidelines of this race, they want to shout you out and cheer. It's such an awesome thing. Every year I come here, every year I'm like, I'm going to run it next year. Because you can't help. Do you feel that way?
Yes,
absolutely. I'm like, yes, I'm ready to run it now. Of course, I'm not. But, you feel that energy and that enthusiasm. Maybe one day. But,
and these charity runners, a lot of them aren't runners necessarily, but they do it, as you said,
God.
They power through, and that makes it more remarkable.
Right, and you see people, amputees, you see people who've come through illness, survived cancer. It's really incredible. I also want to shout out the volunteers, our first responders, of course, but the thousands of volunteers who make this day possible. So grateful to all of them.
Yeah, I think some 5,200 volunteers. Governor Maura Healey, thank you so much for stopping by on this busy day.
Awesome to see you guys, all right?
Wonderful to
Happy
see you.
Patriots Day.
Enjoy the afternoon.
Will do.